A lot of times in life, we have trauma and we choose to not deal with that. Let me make a little analogy. Trauma is, think about a wound, a cut you get, a nasty deep cut, and you put a Band-Aid over it. Now, I'm going to get a little nasty here. You put a Band-Aid over it, and then you got a little bit of pus, a little bit of blood, a little bit of gunk leaking out of it, and you put a new Band-Aid over it. Yeah, it'll be good for a couple days until that pus and blood start leaking out of it again. And then you put a new Band-Aid over it. You didn't get the peroxide, you didn't get the Neosporin, you didn't get the alcohol, you didn't treat that wound. You didn't do any of that. You let it fester. You let it fester. And if we know about the physical body, because you let it fester, that's a great breeding ground for infection. Then what does infection do? It usually goes throughout your body. It goes throughout your body. Then you don't know what to do at that point. Doctors have to take extreme measures when that happens. That's like trauma. You don't deal with trauma, it festers. It pours into your different relationships. It pours into your different relationships and you don't know what to do. You don't know which way to go. And like that infection, when it pours everywhere and the doctor's like, we got to do this, we got to do that. We don't really know what to do. You kind of give up. You know what it is, what it is. It is what it is. It's too far gone now. That's the trauma. That is an equivalent to trauma. When it pours into your relationships, you know, this is just, how many times have we heard people say, this is just who I am. This is just who I am. You could have got that Neosporin. You could have got that peroxide. You could have healed that wound. That infection wouldn't stand a chance if you healed that wound. That's what you have to do with trauma. You have to dissect it. You have to heal it. So it won't be a poisonous infection throughout your life. You can't go through life with that wound. A breeding ground for infection throughout your entire body. Trauma, a breeding ground for dysfunctional relationships throughout your entire life. That Band-Aid is not going to cut it. You have to heal it. You have to heal it. Look at it grow. It's not going to heal overnight. It is not going to heal overnight. You look at that cut. You done cleaned it first. Then you done put your Neosporin, your peroxide, and all those measures. You done took all those measures. You see the next day, ooh, it's getting a little better. It's not bleeding anymore. Okay, it's still there. It's not bleeding anymore. 3 days after that, ooh, what? It's a little smaller than it used to be. It's closing up. 2 weeks after that, all sucky now. Sucky now. I can barely see it. Months from then, it's the size of a dot. You got to take a magnifying glass to see it. Because you know what? I have that little imprint of that wound. But it is no longer bleeding. It no longer hurts. It is really not that noticeable. It's never going to go away. It was there. But my gosh, I'm living my life like it's golden. It don't hurt when I use my finger that had the cut on it. It don't hurt no more. It don't hurt. I barely remember it's there. I look at it sometimes like, oh, I forgot I even did that. I remember what I did. Oh, I remember when I cut myself doing it. I remember when it happened. My gosh, I could look back on it and laugh. It does not affect me. It does not affect me. Trauma and wounds are very similar. Very similar.